Hello and welcome back again, my friends. This is now episode 5 of the What's Your Story series. And today's title is called Life Dream 1. And I'm talking about what is our purpose here? What is the dream that ignites all the talents inside of us and lines up to God's will in heaven? Because see, as we've talked about before in this series, Psalm 139 says there's a book written in heaven about each of us. And there's also a storehouse there that has everything that we need to fulfill that dream. And that dream, written by the Lord himself before the foundations of the earth, is a wonderful dream. He's got wonderful things for us to do. And he's created us in this generation so that we'll network and connect with the rest of the people that he wants us to connect with so that his kingdom and reign of peace can come on this earth. And his love. And, he wants to get rid of the curses. And he can do that through us. Anyway, didn't mean to go into all that, but I guess it needed to be said. And so today, in this segment, I'm going to talk about a book that I wrote when we were in Colorado Springs. And the whole point of me writing this book is I was driving for Lyft and I was having all these writers tell me they were going to commit suicide or that they were thinking about it. I was driving down on Fort Carson, the Army base. I was driving in the Air Force Academy and up in Denver. In Colorado Springs, that county is #1 in the nation in suicide. Now, a lot of people don't know that. They also don't know that the mountain time zone states are in the top 12 in the nation in suicide. So there's something going on in that area. Yeah, it's isolated, but there's just a lot going on. So the reason that I came up with Dreamer'S Ink comes from Habakkuk 2, verse 2. And he's talking about the Lord's talking to him about writing the vision down so that those who see it can run with it. So if you have the vision written down, not only the angelic, but also people here on earth, they can see the plan, because there's always a visionary that starts a business or starts something or creates an invention. And personally, I believe that there's a book written in heaven about every invention in each generation. And God has put within us certain talents and gifts to carry out the plan he has for our life. And in the parable of the talents, we see that one person had 1 talent, one had 2, and one had 5. And this can be attributed to money, but it also can be attributed to what we're good at. And sometimes people don't use the talents they have, but God wants his plans to be done. So sometimes he'll take those talents and he'll birth it in somebody else who is willing to do what he wants them to do here on this earth. He's going to have his way, and he gives everybody a chance to run their own race, to have a wonderful life with him and a relationship with him. He's a loving God. He's a loving Father. This book I wrote as a self-help book, as a group help book, because I thought, what? If friends or family members or co-workers could get together around a table similar to this or a dining table and talk to one another and go through it chapter by chapter. There's literally a study guide in the back with questions from each chapter. So you can read the chapter together, you can read it before you come together, then get together, go through the questions. And it's also interaction. It's like, what do I see in that person? And so I start telling them about what I see in there. And I can tell them, well, these are your giftings, and I see you that maybe you don't believe that. So I want to encourage you in that. And as we do that with each other, with constructive, I guess you could say constructive criticism too, because we all have these little things that we do because we want to protect ourselves. But see, we don't need to protect ourselves because there's so much inside of us that God wants to bring out. And if we can get rid of the old junk, I was taught or told at a young age that I couldn't carry a tune. And it hindered me for years. I love singing. And I found this one little song that we used to sing in a prayer meeting. And it was, I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice. May it be a good sound in your ears. And I'd sing it over and over and over again. I'd say, Lord, please help my voice. I'm writing music. I need to be able to sing this stuff, right? Or get somebody else who knew how to sing it. So today, I just want to go over the introduction to this. And I've already told you about what DREAMER'S Ink is. It's about writing the vision down. Everybody needs to write down what their vision is. A lot of times I tell young people, I didn't start writing music till I was 27. I loved math in school. I didn't like English because they kept changing the terminology on me from year to year in high school. And I was like, those commas. And then put in dashes. Oh, come on, give me a break, And so I thought it was really ironic and funny when I started writing songs. Then I started writing poems. And then I started writing books. It's like, yeah, But see, we don't know what's inside of us because sometimes well-meaning parents, well-meaning teachers, well-meaning friends can put us down in areas. Well, maybe we haven't matured in that area yet. Maybe that part hasn't developed yet. My first song that I wrote is nothing like the song I'm writing now, but I've been writing for 32 years. I've written over 400 songs. So I'm hoping I'm getting better. My guitar playing is getting better. My keyboard playing is getting better. And I write my own drum parts, and those are getting better. I learned how to mix music in churches. The bands were up there, and I was making sure they all sounded well and blended together. And I tried to be on the worship team, and they said, no, we need you back there. So I learned how to play. And I learned how to record. I went back to the Art Institute at 42, learned how to do websites, multimedia, which is film and audio, and also graphic design. So I design all my books, I typeset them, I publish them, I do all my own albums, the covers, the CDs, the tracks. I mix all the tracks. I do all the instruments on my keyboard, save the acoustic guitar which I play. How long have I been doing it? 32 years. It's much easier if I had a band, and we're going to form a couple of bands for this new tour. So, your life dream, how do you find it? Number one, treat it as an adventure. God's put these things inside of us, and He's hidden them for specific times. There are times that we need to go through other things, through a maturing process, just like Joseph did in Genesis. He had this dream that his family and everybody was going to bow down to him. It got him into a lot of trouble, put him in a dungeon, got him locked up for years, false testimony. But one day, when the day was right, when the time was right, he got elevated to second in command of Egypt. And so there are lessons that we need to learn in our life. There are things that we need to mature in. And then when that time comes, God can put us out there. I'm 60 years old. I just came out with these 3 albums in the last 3 years. I've written, I had a couple of albums before, but I didn't have all of the tracks in there and stuff like that. Now I'm working on a new CD, and it's romantic music, and it's going to be called Oh Baby Do You Want to Dance? And it's a fun country rock song, and people like it. So that's going to be the lead of it, and the romance music I've written, I'm going to share a new one with you at the end of this. It's all about helping families and mainly couples think about, why did they get together in the first place? What were those special times? How can they keep the fire going? And that's what the music does. All of my music's encouraging or challenging, because I know that some of you might be out there right now dealing with depression, and you're thinking, it's not worth it. You know, I just need to give up. I need to take myself out. And I've got a song about that. It's called I'm Sorry. And I wrote it from the perspective of somebody who committed suicide and is now trying to get the message to his loved ones on the other side saying, hey, it was my fault. Nothing you did. You need to go on with your life. I want to see you live, love, laugh, and dream again. I want to see you living your dream. So please, don't let what I did devastate your life. And I'm hoping that families can get some healing from that song. And that if somebody's contemplating suicide, maybe they'll listen to it and realize what a mess they're going to leave behind, that they can't clean up, that may stop their family from going forward, and rethink it and start going after their dream. So everything we do, the American Dare to Dream Tour, I'm thinking about putting this into a t-shirt, you know, because really the American Dream Tour is, this is America where we dare to dream. And you can listen to my song, Dare to Dream. That's what it's about. It's about our freedom. And so go for your dreams. Don't let anyone stop you. I also have a DREAMER'S INK Life Force group membership type thing, loosely held, that will be coming up on the website at some point. And it's about helping people form groups to help each other. We're going to be doing a lot of it with the tour. We're starting up family fun days. We're going to have businesses that can rent booths, organizations can rent booths. We'll have digital advertising, and all of those proceeds will go to make this event free. It's going to be an all-day event. You probably won't hear any superstars there, but we're going to use entertainment, songwriters, singers. We're going to have some bands to help back them up if they don't have anybody to help them. We're going to have dancers. We're going to have comedy. We're going to have theatrical productions that are going to encourage people. We're also going to have games for children. We're going to have amusement games that we may use to help get additional funds. And it's going to be a fun day for families. They can come out. There can be cooking contests. There can be, we may have talent searches, talent contests, and each community can come up with their own theme. And the communities, they're going to provide the parks, the community centers, whatever we need for the type of event that they want. We're going to have churches there available to pray for people. We're going to have other organizations there that can help. And we want to find those people that may be struggling, thinking about suicide, or they don't have enough money for food, or they need housing, or they need something like that, so that the whole community can come together and help them. We can have a food pantry there, a farmer's market, crafts, you name it, it can be there. We can have a chef there teaching a new recipe. We have food trucks. People can go sample different foods, But it's about the community. It's about getting to see your neighbors and maybe making some new friends. And you know what? Maybe the dream that's inside of you connects with one of your neighbors or more of your neighbors. So you all get together and you help each other succeed. And that's the basis of what America is. So we start that in March. And hopefully the Woodlands is going to be our first one, or my hometown, Yoko. Or anybody else out there, you want us to come to your community? Hey, contact us, let us know. Go to my website and Facebook, or I'm on all the social media platforms now. So I think I covered that. This is awesome. I wish somebody else has already been doing it. But we're going to also take local talent, and that's what the talent search is all about, so that each community can see the talent they have in their own community. Now, I wrote this book from a Christian perspective, but I want you to know you don't have to be a Christian to pick up things in here. You might learn a few things that you didn't know. Say, for instance, you didn't know about gravity. Well, you know what? If you don't know about gravity and you decide to jump off a cliff, guess what? You're going to go splat on the bottom, right? So some of the things that are out there are principles. And if we don't know them, we could get shipwrecked down the way. So I encourage you to get the book and go through it. And we're going to go over a little bit of it. Each Life Dream episode that I'm doing, I'm going to go through each chapter. And, I'm just going to go over the chapters right now. Chapter 1 is called, What is Dreamer's Ink? It's more than just a book. It's a lifestyle, the life force to develop these groups where you can stay accountable to each other. I have a certificate in the back that you can get out of the book. I'll have it available online soon, but you're welcome to use it. And I'm not sure, I think it's on page 126. It's like this, and you can print it out on an 8.5 by 11. Put your name, the date, sign it. It has a declaration statement here. Write your dream out here, and have your friends, family, whoever, put their name on their phone number. And I'd like everybody in the group to do it. And then print out a few, put them on the walls in your home or wherever you are, your office, so that if you're ever in that situation, maybe you'll see it and you'll think, because when that spirit of suicide comes, it's hard to think beyond where you are. And if you're all alone, that's why a lot of suicides take place. That's when they take place. But what if you saw somebody's phone number and you dial that number and you're calling them, they don't answer. Oh, well, so-and-so, maybe Angela or John or Jim. Somebody, the chances are that they'll answer their phone. And because you've been a part of the group, they'll know exactly right away what's going on inside your brain. And they can be there for you. A lot of these pharmaceutical drugs, there's over 200 pharmaceutical drugs, the popular ones, that have side effects of depression and suicide. And they say on there, if you start to have suicidal tendencies or thoughts, call somebody. Stop taking this drug. If you're in the middle of having suicidal thoughts, that's the last thing you're going to think of. They just need to get these drugs off the market or make better ones. So anyway, that's kind of my soapbox about Big Pharma. But I'm not saying anything that's not on their labels. Look at the TV commercials. If we have the best medical in the world, why do we have drugs that have those side effects? Why can't they make them better? So that's my question to them. So, getting back on, but that's one of the pitfalls in going for your dreams. You gotta watch what you eat, what ingredients are in your food, the stuff you drink, sodas, what's in there. The Weather Channel came out a couple of months ago and said that they have found out that 30% of our food supply contains weed killer. Wow. We're eating poison. Why are our kids getting sick? Why are we getting sick? Why are we getting sicker? Again, it goes back to your dream, because you need to take care of this body to be able to do your dream. And by God's grace, He helps us. He heals us, the miracles. But treat your dream like an adventure. Every day, Lord, what are you doing today? What's on that page in my book today that you have for me? You know what? It brings instant peace. Treat it as a day of discovery, like a treasure hunt. What treasure does He have for us today? Is it in meeting somebody else? Is it in a new idea, an invention, or a new song, or a new movie idea? The sky's the limit. Whatever your talent is, whatever you do every day, look for something new. What are those hidden things? See them as gems. And then, We're going to go on to chapter 2, which is what are dreams? We're going to define dreams. Chapter 3 is about dreamers that have come on before us. You know, all those people. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I got a dream. I have a dream. He's already touched over 2 generations and the whole world. He's brought change to the whole world. One man with one dream. What about millions of us or billions of us? What could we do to change this world and make it a better place? Chapter 4, what are the enemies of our dreams? Chapter 5, defining the dream. Chapter 6, this one will get you. When A to B is not a straight line. So if you're going around in different places, you think you're just going all over the place, maybe there's a purpose to it. Anyway, we're gonna talk about that. We're going to talk in chapter 7 about real dreams are not selfish. If it's a real dream from God, it's about everybody. It's about making this world a better place. It's not about having all the money in the world so we can travel everywhere we want to do and be comfortable in everything we want to be comfortable in. Although that may happen. You know, the more people that start doing this, the better the world's going to be in it. Chapter 8, dreamers change generations. And I just gave you a good example of that. Chapter 9, kingdom perspective. You know, a kingdom has commerce. It has business. It has government. You know, and we're all a part of that. You can't have a kingdom without having some kind of economic system. And God says, my kingdom. And he talks about his 1,000-year rule and reign. He's King of kings, Lord of lords. So there's got to be all of that he's going to bring back. And chapter 10, after you've gone through all that, on to your adventure. You know, pursue your dream. Find out what's in there. Find out, you know, he may blow your mind. I guarantee you that every dream he has will blow your mind. Because he is able to think higher than us because he sees the end from the beginning. And it'll blow your mind. I didn't know I was going to be writing books and writing music and singing and getting up before people. I started driving for Lyft and I was so scared I didn't know what I was going to say. And so I thought, well, everybody likes the weather. So I went on to the Weather Channel and I found out the weather for that day in Colorado Springs, and I greeted each one of my writers by name, asked them how they were doing. We talked about the weather, and the conversation went on from there. Story after story after story. Yeah, sure, some people got in, they were doing business, they were on the phone, or they didn't want to talk. It's okay. It was their ride. But man, I've had some great times, and I'm still in contact with some of those people. In 2016, I went down to Orlando with this mentorship group, and it was a performance down there. It was a competition. We were mentored in the movie industry, modeling, singing, songwriting, dance, and all of that stuff. And so I got up on stage in front of 2,000 people and 100 agents, including Nate Butler with America's Got Talent, VH1, and I went to perform, and I'm like, oh, I mean, you try to do a little riff on the guitar and your fingers are going like this. I couldn't do it right. But you know what? I did it. And now I get up on stage and I'm okay. And there's a lot of fears inside of us that we need to deal with. And we'll go through that in this book as well. So I don't want to take too much time today, but there's also a study guide in here. And it goes, each chapter in the study guide has questions for the chapter that was being read. So individuals can get a lot out of this, and groups can get a lot out of this. Now you can do it in a corporate setting if you want. So this is the introduction to Dreamers Inc. and to the Dreamers Inc. Life Force. There are a lot of successes in our life, there's a lot of failures. We're not perfect. And when we get to the place where we can laugh at our failures and chalk it up as, well, I'm not going to do that again, or I hope I don't do that again. Learn from it, learn from other people's mistakes, and keep going, because life is a journey. There's just one other thing that I want to talk to you about, actually, too. It's about my wife's story, True Miracles. The Lord married us when she was on the miracle side of it, but her story is unlike any other. She grew up, and in puberty, she thought she was a boy in a girl's body. She prayed to the Lord to change her mind or change her body for about 10 years. She was the first woman electrician and printer in San Antonio in the late 70s. She got caught in a printing press up to her shoulder. 38 surgeries later, she was going in and out of mental institutions for 7 years, tried numerous suicide attempts, and at the end, they did an MRI and found out that her brain cells were dying, demyelinating syndrome. When we announced our engagement in 1994 to her parents, her mother took me aside and said, I want you to write the biography. Got the black and white, I'll release in 2011. And this is the collector's edition that's helping us raise money for her movie that we're working on. We're raising $5 million. We want to create a fan base of 5 million people. And this is an interim sample poster. Sentenced to death, destined for life. At death's door, destiny knocks. The Janice Turner Hartman story. And the guy that didn't like to write, I've got a 5-book series on the kingdom. It's all fiction. I wrote each one cover to cover, strictly by revelations that I was either seeing in the heavenlies or words that I was hearing. Literally, sometimes I had to tell the Holy Spirit to slow down. I was typing 100 words a minute. I couldn't keep up with him. So, and book number 5 is awesome. It talks about the library in heaven. It talks about traveling, being translated through time, which we have been translated through time before. And I'll tell about that story later on. And then I have an allegory and actually have an art print that goes with this about the 2 different paths of life. I've got 3 albums. Dare to Dream, which was my first one. We filmed the music video to Dare to Dream on top of Pikes Peak and in Colorado Springs. There's actually a stealth bomber that's I filmed while we were there, and I put that in there as well. Second album is We Are American. Lots of encouraging music, lots of challenging music, and some romantic music. And somebody's hero, which we're all somebody's hero. Whether it's our kids, maybe somebody in the family, friends, co-workers, they're looking up to us and they're hoping that we're going to win because it gives them hope too. And the theme song, Somebody's Hero, talks about that. So that's a good one. And this is also the album that I'm Sorry is on. I've got a song on here called Soldier Story. I wrote it because of all the soldiers I've talked to and counseled and helped. This is a new worship song. It's called You Are Here. I filmed it here in the Woodlands, on the beautiful Lake Woodlands. And it has the names of God in it. I hope if you enjoy that kind of music that you'll go check it out. It's on YouTube, Rumble, and all the streaming services. My books are available on Kindle, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. So check them out. If you can't afford the printed book, you can also get it on Kindle. I hope soon to have it on audio. I need to find somebody that can do the voiceover for me, and we'll get that going too. So I'm hoping that this has helped you, and you can purchase the book on Amazon. And I'm having to raise the price because these books have all gone up in price in printing and shipping. And a few of those books, I'm not making any money at all. So, sorry about that, but that's just the way it goes. The Kindle prices are still the same. And last but not least, we have some friends here in the Woodlands in Magnolia, Texas. They're doing a series on YouTube, and it's called Breaking Strongholds. It's a fictional film. Check them out at the website. It's breakingstrongholds.com/watch. I know these guys, it's great stuff. They're coming out with season 2 right now, I think. And pass it around, spread it around. You can find us on my tour website, joseph-james.net. I've got an itinerary page. We have ways that you can contribute. We have a GoFundMe out for the movie teaser. We have a GoFundMe as well for the tour. Yeah, right now we have a GoFundMe because a couple of days ago the transmission just totally went out in our Yukon. That's our personal vehicle, our ministry and tour vehicle as well. And so we're kind of dead in the water right now here at this hotel. We have a couple days of money left, and we know God's going to get us through. But you know, sometimes going for your dream, you've got to go through some storms because the enemy wants us to quit and give up. But who knows that if God said it and we keep going, we win. So have those around you that can encourage you and encourage others around you as well. I want to share a song with you that I wrote in January of this year. And it's one of the songs that's going to be on the new album. Is kind of romantic. And I've shared it here at the Homewood Suites, Hilton in the Woodlands, and people love it. So I still have yet to write the drum parts and put all the other instruments in it. If I get a band of musicians around me, I hope we can collaborate and put it together that way. I love to collaborate. But the name of the song is called Sometimes Life, and I wrote it from my story. You know, it's something that happened. My first love, we were engaged to be married, and things happened, and I never got an answer. And I've got another song on that too, but maybe I'll do that one on the next video. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope it encourages you. Sometimes life throws a curve, there's sometimes a bump in the road. Sometimes the past comes screaming back, trying to tear us down to the ground. I need some time to think, I just need some time to see. With all that has happened, I just need some time for me to clear these old thoughts out of my head so we can fly anew, higher still. Sometimes life throws a curve, there's sometimes a bump in the road. Sometimes the past comes screaming back, trying to tear us down to the ground. I need to know you're here, I just need to face this fear. With all that has happened, it is wanting to make me run. Oh, I need you more than ever before, so we can fly anew, higher still. Sometimes life throws a curve, there's sometimes a bump in the road. Sometimes the past comes screaming back and trying to tear us down to the ground. I need to know you're there, I just need to know you care. With all that has happened, place for you, to give you more of my heart, so we can fly anew, higher still. Sometimes life throws a curve, sometimes a bump in the road, and sometimes the past comes screaming back, trying to tear us down to the ground. But we will fly, we will fly, and we will win. Sometimes we have misunderstandings, but know that the person that's probably not in agreement with you doesn't want you to run away. Doesn't mean to say it's over. Just saying, I just need some space. So I hope this was good. I hope it encouraged you. And I look forward to our next episode. We'll be going over chapter 1, What is Dreamers Inc? God bless you. And until next time, goodbye.